46 miles an hour is the quoted top speed on this 60-volt dual motor beast of an electric bike. This is of course the brand new 2025 60-volt Aniioki A8 Pro Max dual motor. And today we're gonna review it. In this video, I'll be showing you everything you need to know to help you figure out whether this is the right e-bike for you or not. We're going to be taking a close look at the bike to figure out all the updates they've done over last year's model, and then we'll be taking it outside to put it through all of these real-world tests to figure out if it performs as well as they say it does. And while I top up this massive 70 amp hour battery with the supplied 8 amp charger, let's zoom in on this unique and insane looking e-bike, starting with the beauty shots. I'm going to cue up the B-roll. So the first and most obvious update is the new motors. You get the same one front and back, and these are 60 volt, 2200 watt motors. And that's rated power. These peak at 2800 watts, giving you a grand total of 5600 watts of peak power. Like I said, you get the same motor front and back. You can turn them on individually or both at the same time. And together they give you 250 Newton meters of torque. And the last huge upgrade when it comes to performance is the controller, what's in here. This is a dual 35 amp sine wave controller. It gives you a combined 70 amps going to both those motors. Oh, and I forgot to tell you the most important part about these motors. You know that annoying noise and whine coming from most e-bike motors? Well, you won't hear a peep out of these. These are direct drive motors. By themselves, they're not going to give you a ton of acceleration. That's not what they're known for. But there's two of them, so that takes care of that. These are going to silently take you to a much higher speed than most geared hub motors. The new A8 Pro Max rolls on a set of 20-inch diameter, 4-inch wide tires. These have kind of a dual sport tread on them. They're nice and smooth, so they'll be quiet on the road, but the treads are actually really deep, which will help them sink into the dirt and sand. And check out the spokes on these wheels. These are motorcycle spokes, and there's so many of them. This is a massive and heavy bike, so I'm really pleased to see that they reinforce the wheels. And to cover you from the mud and puddles, you get fenders, front and back. For the drivetrain, we've seen this before. 7-speed Shimano tourney derailleur, 7-speed Shimano cassette. You get a really nice big chain ring protected with a metal guard, some Aniioki branded cranks, and some plastic pedals. Here's a shot of the rear rack. It's bolted directly to the bike's frame, which will make it super nice and sturdy. And it's got some pre-drilled holes here, so if you did want to add a metal basket or maybe a second seat, you could probably do that right here. Here's a full shot of this unique looking frame. I gotta be honest with you guys, when I first saw the Aniioki bikes, I wasn't super in love with them. These bikes are very unique looking just because of this huge battery compartment here. They make a few different models. This is the high step version, so you're stepping over the rear seat. But they do make a step-through version like the AQ177. So this is a full suspension frame. It does come with 2 coil shocks right here in the back, and you can preload the springs to make them stiffer to support more weight. All you gotta do is spin this ring and it'll compress the spring a little bit. The cool thing about the new A8 is that they found a way to make a nice big bench seat, just like the Moped-Style e-bikes, super comfortable for long rides, especially with a bike like this that you're mostly gonna ride with the throttle. But this one here is adjustable. You can actually adjust the height of the seat. Super easy. You got long legs, put the seat up here, get a nice comfortable sitting position. You're short like me and you wanna reach the ground flat-footed, easy. Just drop it all the way down. But take a look at how comfortable this seat looks. Nice and cushy. There's tons of foam in here. It's got kind of a faux leather finish. Looks super smooth and super soft. Nice. So this is the big battery compartment here in the frame. You get a couple of sets of keys with the unlock being right here. All you have to do is turn the key and you can slide this massive battery out. To put it in, super simple. Drop it in, slide it all the way to the back, and then click it in. That's it. Let's take a look at this new air suspension fork. It's a dual crown design with a long travel. Check this out. That's gotta be at least 100 millimeters of travel here. On the top left here is where you put in the air. All you gotta do is get yourself a shock pump, hook it up into this valve, and pump it up to your desired pressure. The more air pressure you put in the fork, the stiffer it'll be. So if you're a heavier rider, you're gonna need more air in there. And if you're a lighter rider and wanna get all that buttery travel, then all you gotta do is take some air out. And over here on the right is your compression dial. This also helps stiffen up the spring. And if you go all the way, you're gonna lock out the fork. So the bike comes fully kitted out with lights. You get a massive motorcycle style LED headlight. There's a low and high beam as well as an LED halo that lights up during the day. You also get turn signals left and right. And out back you get an integrated tail light that lights up with the brake as well as the turn signals right here. We'll turn them on in just a sec, but first let's take a look at the controls. So on our way up to the controls, I gotta show you this. The handlebar and stem is one combo on the A8 Pro Max. Usually bikes will have a separate piece for the stem and a separate piece for the handlebar, but this is all one piece. This means that if you wanted to change the handlebars for whatever reason, you'd have to buy a stem and a handlebar. I don't really see why you'd need to change the bars, maybe if you wanted them lower for whatever reason, but these put you up so nice and high. Aniioki has one of the best cruising positions I've ever felt on any e-bike. The handlebars also have a lot of space here to mount some extra accessories, so whatever you need up front, you got room to do it. Starting on the right, there's actually quite a bit to unpack, so bear with me. You get a full twist throttle, and this one's really nice. It's got a nice grippy rubber sleeve on it, so no slipping out with that hard plastic. You get a 7-speed Shimano rapid fire shifter, and how about this for a nice touch? Aniioki supplies you with a set of mirrors. I mounted mine just below the handlebar so it shows me just underneath my armpit if there's a car coming beside me. If you prefer the way they look up top, you can mount them like that too. And on the left, it's a similar story. There's quite a bit here. You get the same rubber grip, an instrument cluster that has your horn, your turn signals, your low and high beam, as well as your hazards here. And the remote next to it has a plus and minus button for your pedal assist modes, as well as your power button. And right below here is the second mirror. Of course, if you did want it up high, you can mount it up here too. Okay, let's turn on the screen. First, you gotta turn the battery power on with this button here. Then, for added security, Aniioki gives you two remotes. These are both the same, so let's just look at the white one here. You get a power button, an alarm button, lock, and unlock button up here. So to get power to the bike, we're gonna push the power button. There we go.
Hello, Aniioki.
And now the bike turns on. Beautiful. And what I love about this screen is that it has a matte finish on the screen. It's not a glossy finish that'll give you a ton of glare. I haven't seen a lot of screens like this, so this is actually really cool. So let's see what you get on the screen. You get an icon here that says recording. I'll show you that feature in just a sec. But down here you get your speedometer in miles or kilometers an hour. Here's your pedal assist modes. You can go from 0 all the way, ooh, they change colors, all the way to 5. Over here's an icon of the bike showing you which motor's on. Right now we've got both on, but if we double click the power button, you get rear, just the front, or both. You get your battery meter down here, your odometer, and your trip. Let's see what kind of speed we can get the wheel spinning with no weight on it. So unfortunately, there's no way of turning on just the rear motor and pedal assist 4 or 5. These higher power modes will have both motors running all the time. But if I go to pedal assist 3, I actually have a choice. So now there's just the rear motor. Okay, so I got 23 miles an hour, which is obviously well below the quoted top speed of this bike. So we're gonna have to take it outside to figure out exactly how fast this bike goes. I almost forgot to show you, there's a couple of buttons on the side here. This one here will actually open up the settings. There's a record button here that actually has a front-facing camera. How cool is that? This is basically so that if you get in an accident, you're gonna have the last 3 minutes recorded on the SD card in here. Going back though, you can hook up your phone's Bluetooth so that you can control the video and the music right through the screen here. And going into the settings here, you get everything you could possibly want. You get to choose how long the loop recording is. I'll set it to 3 minutes. You get the backlight, the mileage unit, sleep time, gear mode, you can format the SD card, you get a bunch of different language settings, speed settings, and a bunch of settings that I don't even want to begin to touch. So you can set a password. There's tons of stuff you can do in here. Here's a close-up of that front-facing camera. It's right here in the back of the screen, so it just records what's going on in front of you. Pretty slick, actually. Now I want to show you one of the most unique-looking things on this bike, the brakes. First, you have these big motorcycle-style levers with reservoir, so these will always have fluid in them. And if not, you can just pop this cap off and top it off. All the bubbles inside the system just come into this reservoir and just go on top. It's super nice and smooth. Very, very little maintenance for these. The next unique looking thing on this bike is this little doohickey here. It has the hydraulic line from the front brake going into the top here, and it splits it into two different lines here on both sides of the wheel. That's because this bike has two sets of hydraulic calipers on both sides of the front wheel. Take a look at these things. These are absolutely massive. The brake pad is huge in them, and they have 6 pistons that equally push onto the spring to get nice brake application. Big brake levers, big brake calipers. Of course, you're gonna get massive rotors on the new A8. These are 300mm rotors. Here it is next to a 203. This is one of the bigger discs that we see on e-bikes today. They look super tiny compared to what's on the new Aniioki. Not only that, but you get it on both sides of the front wheel. Left and right, same setup. Big 300mm rotor and the big 6-piston caliper. And Outback's the similar story. 6-piston caliper, big 300mm rotors, but the thing is Outback that's only on the left. I feel like if Aniioki didn't put a derailleur on the other side, they would have put a second setup on the right too. Okay, let's take a look at our headlights. First, you gotta hold the plus button to turn the headlights on. There we go. Nice sharp projector style headlight. Wide enough to fill the whole lane in front of you. Perfect. And this is the high beam. It doesn't add on to the low beam, it's a completely different light bulb. See? And here's what our taillight looks like during the day, nothing on. Turn the headlights on. The taillight turns on. Get turn signals, left and right, and brake application. Perfect. Okay, let's check the fit on the new A8 Pro Max. It's a big, long bike, but with being able to lower the seat all the way down here, even a short person like me can easily fit on this bike. I can almost touch the ground flat-footed, and I'm 5'9" for reference. The sitting position on this thing is super nice. Like, my body is straight up and down. There's no weight on my arms. I'm not leaned back at all. It just feels perfect. I can't wait to go ride this thing. Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon. Today's my first day riding the brand new 60-volt Aniioki A8 Pro Max dual motor. This is the 2025 versions. There are so many new features to show you guys on this bike. But let's get one thing straight. I'm not here to sell you this bike. This bike will sell itself if it's the right one for you. And my goal with the video today is just to show you tests that you can see. I couldn't bullshit you if I tried with what I'm gonna show you with this bike. You're gonna see how fast it goes. You're gonna see how well it climbs hills. You're gonna see how well it brakes, if it can go off-road. All of the things. Now I'm gonna touch on a couple of things that I can feel, obviously, like build quality, comfort, things like that. But this is just coming from a guy that's ridden well over 50 e-bikes in the last year or so. I'm gonna try my best to maybe compare it to a few other bikes that I've ridden, but honestly, it's gonna be a little bit hard because Aniioki have kind of got their own niche in the market. They're one of maybe 2 or 3 companies that make e-bikes with this size battery built into them. This thing is insane, 70 amp hours at 60 volts. That's one of the biggest batteries I've ever had in a bike before. And like I showed you earlier in the studio, every feature on this bike's just been upgraded to the 9s. So now there's only one thing to do, find out how well it performs. Let's go to the hill climb. I always start right here at my fire hydrant. I've got my GPS speedometer here, and hopefully you guys can see the bike screen. Let's go. Dual motor, throttle only. Up this 15% grade hill. Let's see what this thing's got. Okay, I got 30 miles an hour before the hill starts. Let's see what kind of speed we can keep up this hill. 31 miles an hour, sustained uphill. Woo-hoo-hoo! This is gonna be fun. So right before we take it on to Test Drive Island and really unlock this thing and see its full potential, let's see how quickly it accelerates. I always start right here on my lamp pole, and just up ahead there's a driveway pullout. If I can get to 20 miles an hour before the driveway, we got a fast bike. And something tells me this thing will have no problems getting up to 20 miles an hour. Guys, think about it. This thing has over 200 Newton meters of torque, and it peaks at over 5,000 watts. Come on. I've got it in dual motor, pedal assist number 5. Let's go throttle only. You guys ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Woo! Little front wheel spin. I'm at 23 miles an hour, 24, man. 27 miles an hour before the driveway. This has got to be one of the fastest bikes I've been on in a while. What a cool looking bike. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like the bikes from Aniioki are so polarizing. Some people hate the way they look, some people love them. Personally, you know, I think they just look unique. They're a head turner, right? To be able to fit a massive battery in here, you do need a compartment. And you know, they make everything work. Everything on this bike this year has been beefed up, from the motorcycle spokes on the wheels to the frame. It's twice as heavy, twice as thick as it was last year. You know, it needs to hold a lot of weight because it has a lot of power, and it's definitely not a light bike. So since we're just getting to know each other, why don't we start by taking it to about 20 miles an hour and then laying it over just to do some S-turns. I want to see how this thing handles because it's a pretty heavy bike. So I'm gonna get going here, get to about 20 miles an hour. Here we go, and let's lean it over. Wow. Okay, first impressions on this bike is so positive. I have nothing but nice things to say about this thing. It feels so much more premium than the old version. First thing you notice is how silent the motors are. You don't hear anything. It's just smooth and silent. It's a heavy bike, but it is so stable. And these new tires are awesome. They grip the road so well. I've got no problems leaning this 200-pound bike over. Man, this feels good. So while we head over to set up for our next test, I just want to give you guys my first impressions here on the A8 Pro Max 60-volt variant, the new model for 2025. And by the way, this is the dual motor. This is as good as it gets from Aniioki. There's one model above this one, the A9, and that one is basically exactly the same as this, just has bigger wheels. Now, the bigger wheels will do two things on the bike. Obviously make it taller. So if you're a really tall rider, I'm talking like 6'2" and taller, you're gonna fit much better on the A9. But if you're like me, I'm 5'9", if you're shorter than I am, or maybe up to 6 feet, maybe up to 6'2", right? You're gonna fit very well on the A8. And the A8's got something that the A9 won't have, and that's acceleration. The smaller wheels are quicker to get up to speed. So if you like your bike to have some get up and go, get up to speed really fast, and then keep that speed, the A8 is where it's at. But I'm pretty sure if you look at any reviews on the A9, that thing's probably got a little bit higher top speed. Uh-oh. That's what's loose. Okay, this is nice and tight now. Sorry about that, just had to tighten my headlight there, it was coming loose. And that kind of takes me to my next point. The assembly on this A8 Pro Max is a little bit more involved than some of the other bikes out there. I mean, obviously there's worse, but everything comes shipped separately. You get the bike and you get the front wheel in a separate box. All the accessories come in that second one. You have to put the headlight on, the fenders. It's pretty involved, so you kind of have to know what you're doing mechanically, but I do have to say that Aniioki did a great job with their owner's manual. Everything has color photos in there. Every step is outlined. It's super easy to follow along. So even if you don't have a ton of mechanical aptitude and know-how, you can follow along with that thing and everything gets done properly. You do have to make sure every bolt is tight though. But man, like so far, the ride quality, like the perception of ride quality on this bike is very, very positive. Everything feels tight, everything's quiet, everything feels like such a quality bike. And you kind of have to, right? I mean, this bike's not cheap. One thing that was a little bit frustrating so far, I mean, I think I've got it nailed right now, but one thing I did have to faff around for a little bit was the orientation of the front calipers. Getting those things centered right above the rotor so it doesn't rub on each side is a little bit tedious, and I got them to where I kind of thought they'd be perfect. I went out for a little bit of a ride and they were rubbing a little bit, but I've made a couple micro adjustments and they seem fine now. So far, the suspension feels great. I didn't really do anything to the suspension. I mean, it has the same amount of air it came with in the box. The springs, I left exactly where they are. I'm just a little under 200 pounds right now, and the bike feels great. Beautiful thing with this thing is that you can wind those coils a little bit more if you weigh more to get you some extra support out back. And the front is an air shock. So if you weigh more than I do and you want to get the suspension a little stiffer up front, all you got to do is get yourself a little shock pump and pump a little bit more PSI into that front fork. Man, I love it out here. It's so beautiful. Time to get set up for the brake test. Here's the marker I want to stop at, and I've got about a 20-foot distance to the first marker. I'm gonna try my best to go about 28 miles an hour, 28 to 30, and slam on the brakes right here with the Aniioki A8 Pro Max. Now, I showed you inside the studio, this thing has an insane brake setup. These are 6-piston calipers biting onto 300 mil rotors. That's front and back. No, up front, there's 2 of them on the right and on the left. This thing is absolutely insane. I have never ever seen this on a bike before. It's crazy. So let's see what kind of braking performance we can get from the A8 Pro Max. Now, if there's one thing that's working against us, is this thing's heavy and it's fast. So to keep things honest and fair to compare with other bikes, right? All we're trying to do is test the braking performance. So let's do this. I'm gonna set it in single motor. Oh, I gotta go down to pedal assist number 3 to do that. Double tap the power, there we go. So I'm gonna set it in single motor. I'll leave it in pedal assist number 3, and that should get me into the 30 mile an hour mark. Now, I do that just to stay fair, right? Some bikes can go faster, some bikes can go, well, usually e-bikes can get up to 28 miles an hour. That's kind of a given. So if I keep the speed the same, then we can actually compare the braking performance of each bike. So let's do that. You guys ready? 3, 2, 1, go. So I'm gonna get up to speed here, hopefully get close to 28 miles an hour, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, and brake. Wow. Well, you did it. Just barely, but we did it. Now, this is exactly what I thought was gonna happen, right? It was hard to stay at 28 miles an hour. The thing just wants to go. So I think I went a little bit faster. I saw 30, maybe a little bit higher. I'll review the footage later. But the rear locks up instantly, right? I mean, this setup in the rear is just overkill. It's insane. And up front, I don't know if the brakes aren't fully bed in yet, but I couldn't lock up the front, which is good, right? Yeah, the last thing you want to do is lose control at the front of the bike. Man, these are heavy bikes and they need big brakes, and they have them, right? And we got decent braking performance. We were able to come to a stop within about a 20-foot distance. So again, that just shows that with great power and a heavy bike like this comes great responsibility, right? This bike goes fast, this bike's super heavy. So if you're gonna do that, make sure you don't do it around other people, right? Make sure you don't do it around other cars because it takes a little while to come to a stop, right? It's just physics. Right, so let me show you a few features that I've found on the bike so far. And let's start with this beautiful front display. Oh, actually, there we go. Don't need that anymore. But check out the new screen. This thing is huge and super bright. I've got polarized glasses on. I can see it clear as day. It's dark and black and the letters are punchy. It's colorful. I absolutely love this new screen. It's one of the best ones I've ever had on an e-bike before. And not only that, but check this out. You get apps in this thing. The bike even has a dash cam in front of this screen. So what the dash cam does is it records 3 minutes and then just keeps looping around. So if you did get into an accident, you'd have the last 3 minutes to pull up the footage from, right? That's a pretty cool feature. You can sync your phone to Bluetooth, you can play videos, you can play music while you're out and about, and you can control it here with the screen. This is actually really, really cool. And this new screen makes navigating the settings really, really easy. Check this out. Everything is there. You get your loop recording, backlight, brightness, mileage unit, sleep mode, gear mode. You can set all the performance for the bikes. You can format an SD card. If you want the dash cam to record any longer than 3 minutes, you can put a little SD card, change the speed settings, boosts. I mean, everything is here. Bluetooth settings for your phone. You can put a password on this thing. Everything is here. Like I said, it's one of the best screens I've seen so far. Time to find out what we all want to know. Exactly how fast the A8 Pro Max dual motor new 60 volt version for 2025 can actually go. Now, how about we do this? I'm gonna set it in pedal assist 0 just to see if we can get any throttle power, and then we're gonna work our way up the power modes. So in pedal assist 0, I've got it in dual motor. 0 gives me nothing. So let's go to number 1 and then go all the way to the top speed. You guys ready? 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so power level number 1 gives me about 8 miles an hour, which is super tame. Like my grandma could ride this, no problems. Let's go to number 2. There we go. Nice amount of power. Gives us about 15 miles an hour. Pedal assist 3. Gets us to about 23 miles an hour. Number 4, oh, there it is. Here comes the power. 33 miles an hour. Let's go to 5. 37, 38, 40, it's still pulling. 41, 43, 44. Oh. All right, that's it. So 44 miles an hour is what I got on it. But I'm 1 battery bar down, so I think if the top speed was the first thing that we probably did before the hill climb, before acceleration, before any of that, I probably think I could get up to that 46 mile an hour quoted top speed. But man, anything over 40 miles an hour is just absolutely insane on a bike. Let's keep it going. Woo! Let's see what this thing's like to pedal, because it does have a pretty decent setup here. I mean, the chainring's not huge. I think I've seen bigger on the wired bikes, and you get 7 speeds back here. So I'm gonna throw it into the granny gear, see what this thing's like to pedal without any power first, and then we'll work our way up the pedal assist modes. Okay, pedal assist 0. Let's start pedaling. Ooh. There we go, granny gear. Oh, man. You know what I'm gonna do, actually? Because you can do, this is one of the only moped-style e-bikes that you can actually adjust the seat height on. So I'm gonna go up a little bit, just to get some extra stretch out of my legs. I think this is gonna make the bike a lot nicer to pedal. There we go. A little bit higher. Oh, just getting going, like just getting the bike's momentum moving forward is quite the chore. And you know what? Still, the seat is pretty wide, right? So like the inside of my thighs are just rubbing on this seat, and it feels like I have to like be bow-legged just to be able to pedal properly. It's not the best, you know, but this seat was not designed to be a pedal seat, right? It's designed for comfort. This bike definitely is a throttle bike. So let's go to pedal assist number 1. There we go. I feel a little bit of power kicking in. Now this is a cadence sensor. You don't need to put any pressure on the cranks. You literally just have to turn them and the bike will just go at the power level that you have it at. So in 1, gets me up to about 8 miles an hour. In number 2, there you go, power kicks in. Man, I love how silent this thing is. You don't hear the motors at all. It's absolutely a joy to ride. There we go, 16 miles an hour, we got our GPS back. Drop a couple more gears, let's go all the way down because I haven't touched the chain in a while. 23 miles an hour. Pedal assist 4, here we go. 33 miles an hour. And pedal assist 5. Here we go, let's see what we can get. 38. 40. 42. 43. So yeah, not the most comfortable bike, but I do like how you can change the height of this seat. This makes the A8 Pro Max a dream for pretty much any size rider. With the seat all the way down, I can easily touch the ground, and so will riders even smaller than I am. And if you're taller with long legs, you just move that seat up and you're golden. So while we're out here testing the pedal assist modes and the throttle, let's see how responsive each one is. So I'm gonna start with the cadence sensor. Let's do this. I'm gonna go to pedal assist number 5, and let's see how quickly the bike kicks in some power. So I'm gonna start pedaling now. Oh, wow. So here's what I'm noticing with the cadence sensor. The power is super slow to kick in. Like I'm pedaling, I can barely feel anything, and then it's just like such a it's such a smooth ramp up of power. And the other thing I notice is as soon as you stop pedaling, the bike's power stays there and keeps giving you power for another second or two. Watch this. So I'm gonna pedal. There we go. I've got power. I'm gonna stop pedaling. Still got power, still got power. Now it stops. It's crazy, like it still gives you power for a few seconds. I'm gonna pedal. Power's just creeping in. There we go, now we're going. I'm gonna stop pedaling. Still got power till now. It's crazy. I've never felt this much overrun on an e-bike before. I don't know if it's something I can tune in the bike's computer, or maybe it's just meant to be like that, but that's just something you gotta get used to, right? Like look at this. I'm just gonna pedal, just gonna do 1 revolution of the cranks. I've got power, 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 no power, right? Like it just gives you power for a little bit after you stop pedaling. Pretty crazy. Okay, and how about this throttle, right? This is a very throttle-centric bike. I know 99% of you guys that buy this bike are gonna use the throttle and the throttle only on this thing. I mean, you might make someone laugh on the side of the road by pedaling this thing, right? Just to show them that you are on a bicycle, but come on, right? This thing's a mini motorcycle. So let's see how sensitive this throttle is and how easy it is to control this 5,000 watt bike. So what I'm gonna do, I've got it in dual motor, pedal assist 5. This is as much power as I can. And I'm gonna try to just kind of like creep along. Just get like a little bit of power. You guys ready? There we go. So we're just creeping along at 7 miles an hour right now. And it's super easy to control. You want a little bit more? A little bit more? Well, that feels like a lot more because it's got so much power. But look at this, right? I can stay at a sustained 18 miles an hour, right? And then if I want the full power, I just crank it and then it just goes. Man. And it just feels like it pulls and pulls and pulls. It just like gives you so much power for so long. It's insane. Loving this thing so far. Woo! The final thing I should point out with this throttle is that it's instant power. It is just like, it's just instant. There's zero lag at all on this throttle. Like some throttles are good, you know, they've got maybe like half a second, right? Maybe a few milliseconds, but there's zero lag on the power on this throttle. It is just, like it just feels like a motorcycle. So good. So we've seen the performance on road. Let's see the performance off-road. Let's take it to the beach. Now I'm pretty sure I've had these tires on another bike. I can't remember which one, but I seem to remember them being pretty decent off-road. They're nice and smooth. They've got a steady tread on the road. They're nice and quiet. But off-road, I don't know. What do you guys think? I think they'll do all right. And this thing has so much torque and power. I don't think we're gonna have any issues getting on or off the beach. So let's go find out. Yeah! Okay, ooh, low bridge. Maybe I should have left it in single motor. This thing has so much torque up front. It's insane. Okay, try not to get it too muddy. Yeah. Woo! Man. Woo! Oh, wow. Oh, it sucks. The tide is so high today. Oh, man. That sucks. Let's see what we can do. Pedal assist 5, all the power, both motors. Let's see what we can do here. Like no problems. Ooh. Oh, it's muddy here. Oh man. This beach is usually so nice. It's clear, the sand is soft, and usually there's sand all the way to those pillars over there. But it's not our day. Maybe we'll come back to the beach later. Okay. So guys, I gotta say, the performance off-road on this bike is as expected. The suspension works beautifully. It's smooth, it's quiet, just awesome. Now, dual motor off-road is really gonna be good if you're just riding kind of like gravel roads and stuff like that. I mean, if you're doing any sort of trails, it's just too much power almost. So I'd probably recommend to leave it in single motor mode if you're doing rocky and rooty trails. Ow. Well, we got it all muddy. On and off muddy trails. No problems. Sorry the beach wasn't any drier. I would have loved to go out there and just do a bunch of S-turns in the sand, but today's not our day. Maybe we'll come back another time. So I've been on the bike for a solid hour now, and I want to take 2 minutes to talk about ride and bike quality, right? Everything that I'm feeling. Let's start with the contact points. The grips are awesome. I give these a 9 out of 10. They're great. They're all built into the bike's electronics. They're fairly hard plastic, but they actually are grippier than some. They're not the soft rubber like some of the lock-on grips that, you know, mountain bikes have, but they actually feel really good. I'd probably give them a 9 out of 10. The throttle feels awesome. I love a full twist throttle, especially on a big, powerful bike like this one. This thing is awesome. The seat, well, come on, guys. Aniioki is known for making comfortable bikes, and this seat is super, super comfortable. And I love the fact that you can actually play with the height of that seat. So whether you're 5'5" or 6'5", there's no problems getting along with this bike. You're gonna be able to find the right height for the seat and definitely find a comfortable spot to sit on this thing. And finally, the pedals, well, guys, they're just basic metal pedals, right? It's just somewhere to put your feet on. This isn't a bike you're gonna need a ton of grip on the pedals, so honestly, I would just stick with these and Bob's your uncle. The frame is really good. It puts you in the sweet spot for cruising along. I absolutely love the sitting position on these bikes. It's nice and upright. The handlebars are nice and high. You know, I'm sitting straight. I can just sit back, relax, enjoy the view. I love sitting on this bike. And everything about the frame just feels really tight. You know, there's no rattles, there's no clunking around. Other than maybe when we took it off-road, I heard a little bit of the chain rattling around and maybe the rear fender, but that's it. Everything on the bike just feels tight and really good. The tires on this new A8 Pro Max are really, really good. I love how silent they are. They're big, thick, knobby tires. They've got a ton of rubber, which one, will last you a long, long time, and two, really protect about getting flat. But on top of that, the rubber compound on these tires is nice and soft, which makes them super grippy on the road. I bet you it's super hard to slide out on this bike. And they're silent. They're big, long, thick knobs, so they don't actually create a lot of noise when you're on the road. Love these tires. And the last thing I want to touch on is suspension. I give this suspension probably a solid 9 out of 10. Again, there's one thing that could probably make this even better. Actually, there's two things that can make this suspension a little better. One would be to have dual air shocks in the back. This would let you basically pump up as much air as you need to support your weight and make it that much smoother in the back. But these coil shocks get it, you know, they really soften the road. I bet you though, if you weighed any more than 250, maybe 300 pounds, you'd have a pretty easy time to bottom these out. But the nice thing is you can wind those coils super tight and get you a bunch of support back there. So, you know, again, 9 out of 10, you know, it could be a little bit better, but this is really, really nice. And the front fork, finally, an e-bike with an air front fork. You can get yourself a shock pump and put as much PSI as you want, as you need in this front fork to support your weight. Whether you weigh 150 or 300 pounds, it doesn't matter. You can find the right amount of air pressure to support your weight. And it's got a compression setting. The only thing that could make this front fork a little nicer would be a rebound adjustment. Being able to slow down the damper a little bit would be really, really nice on this fork. It feels great, it's silent, but it is a little bit springy. Watch this. Right, it does clunk up a little bit. So having a rebound adjustment in there just to slow it down would make it feel perfect. But if you're not planning on jumping in this bike or going off-road a whole lot on some super rough, rocky, rooty trails, if you're planning on riding trails like I'm riding today, maybe going to the beach, gravel pass, or you know, even rough roads like we're on right now, this suspension is butter. Oh, and I forgot to talk about the electronics. Guys, the electronic package on this bike has been perfected and refined. It is awesome. The bike I got has 0 issues. The throttle is perfect. The motors are steady, they're smooth, they're strong. The screen is awesome. Right now, direct sun right behind me, and I can see it clear as day, even with polarized glasses on. You can sync your phone, control your music. You can do everything with this bike. You get rear view mirrors, you get a rack, you get a beautiful bench seat you can adjust the height on. What else do you want? Right, so $1 million question. Who's the Aniioki A8 Pro Max dual motor 60 volt version really for? Now, guys, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's not a cheap bike, right? At $33.99, the version I've got here in black and with the 70 amp hour battery is $33.99 right now on their website. But it is on sale. Its regular price is $35.99. So they've got $200 off right now. And I'm gonna do my best to battle with the guys at Aniioki to get you guys a discount code to save you even more money on the bike. But it's not a cheap bike. So obviously, one, you need to be able to afford it. And two, I feel like this is gonna be a bike for someone who's maybe got experience riding, you know, other bikes or maybe a motorcycle, right? But just wants a bike to get out and get some exercise, get some fresh air, and go a long, long way. Look, I put almost 20 miles on this thing and I'm just down 1 battery bar. These batteries are absolutely insane. There is 0 chance you're gonna get me doing a freaking range test on this thing. I would be out all day. Not happening. But yeah, obviously, Aniioki's known for making long-range bikes. So if you want a bike that can go all week without needing any charge, or if you, like I said, want to be out all day on your bike without having any range anxiety whatsoever, look at this bike. Now, obviously, Aniioki's got a ton of different models on their website, from single motor bikes to dual motor bikes. They've got 48 volt, 52, 60 volt now, right? So there's tons of choice out there. There's bike with the step over design, just like I've got here, or there's bikes with the step through design, like the AQ177, and they make that in a dual motor now as well. Seriously consider it, because this is one of the best experiences I've had on an e-bike so far this year, and I ride a lot of cool bikes. Not only does it go far, not only does it have a ton of power, but it's silent. I absolutely love how quiet this bike is. There is 0 sound coming from either one of the motors on this thing. These direct drive motors are pure gold. I absolutely love these. The power delivery is so smooth, and once they get up to speed, man, they just keep pulling forever. Whether you're 5'5" or 6'5", it doesn't matter. You're gonna be able to find a happy sitting position on a bike like this because you can adjust the height of this bench seat. It's so comfortable. I love the sitting position on this thing, and honestly, I could be out all day cruising on this thing. So man, if the A8 Pro Max sounds like it's the perfect bike for you, check it out in the link in the description. Or you can scan this QR code with your phone's camera. That'll take you right to their website. It'll guarantee you the best price that they've got going on right now. And if I can do anything on the price, like save you guys an extra little bit with the discount code, it'll be in the description of the video as well. So don't forget to use it. And if the A8 Pro Max dual motor is not the perfect bike for you, that's okay. Maybe the bike in this video will be more what you're looking for. I'll see you guys over there.